everyone, welcome back to Pennies Not Perfection. Today we're going to be going over the first paycheck budget in April. This is a paycheck budget based off of the monthly budget that we made at the beginning of the month, which was estimated with $6,000 in income total. And this is going to cover the first 2 weeks roughly of April. We both received our day job paychecks on the 3rd, and that will cover from April 3rd to April 16th. It will also cover the April 2nd student loan payment that we did not make on April 2nd, so that is being rolled over to April 3rd, and that will be covered by this paycheck, along with our mortgage payment, Netflix bill, and a therapy appointment. Those are the only bills on the calendar for this period, so that's what will be in the fixed expenses in our budget. I've been thinking a lot about how I budget and how I show my budgets here on YouTube, and I'll be honest, everything is different this time. So this is a totally new style and type of budgeting. It is very much based on pay yourself first, which is a method where you do all of your savings and investing and debt payment and everything that benefits you and your future self first. And that's honestly what I do in my head when I'm writing out everything for our pre-done budget. But I don't necessarily show that well, and I don't always stick to it. So in the new way that I'm going to be budgeting, I'm going to be doing that first. This is because of the pandemic that has shown me that things need to be focused on taking care of ourselves first so that we can be in a better position when things go haywire in the world that we can't control. And it's based on trying to hit our goals more consistently and thoughtfully and strategically. So I'm also doing a different thing with my business income. Instead of immediately throwing money at whatever goal I'm working on, when I get paid from different affiliates and ad revenue, I am instead going to pay myself like a salary every other week, $400, and use that in our regular budgets, and then let my business account build up for a while, so that hopefully if revenue drops or affiliates which have been close down, I will have some backup income built up, because even this side income is very unstable, just like any other kind of income. So that's the plan for that. And then I am getting an FSA reimbursement for $260. So our total income for this paycheck budget will be $3,259. That is from 2 regular salary jobs, a side hustle, and a health reimbursement. All right, let's hop into the actual budget and where the money is going to go. For paying ourselves first, we are going to put money in our emergency fund. That is our number one priority. And since this budget is going to come out after we've already done it, you know that we put $1,130 into our emergency fund on Transfer Tuesday. That amount is what we had planned for each paycheck budget of the month, and that is going to work out pretty well. I'm excited about that. That's a big chunk of money, but since we are not paying daycare, we are able to do that, and we have a few other things that we're just not paying for right now. I am making a $220 student loan payment. That's basically the minimum amount due on the student loans. Then looking at our other goals for the year, I am going to start including more amounts toward our other goals, because it is very obvious that you can hit more than one goal at one time, and you can totally work toward things in the background while you're doing one big thing. We have a lot of money goals, so I want to get started on those, including maxing out our Roth IRA, at least mine, and paying off the loans, obviously. And then the big one is adding money to the emergency fund now. But we have not been doing anything with the others. But those are important to my future self too, so I will be including them now. And the first one that's going in this pay yourself first category is going to be starting my 2020 Roth IRA contributions. And I am going to send $50 to my Roth IRA this year to get it started. I have contributed to my Roth IRA in the past, but the last 2 years I really have neglected it. So that is back on the table, and we are going to be putting money in it on the 14th. I am also going to send a $10 amount to the Robinhood account, which is the penny portfolio. You can watch that video, and it shows you why I am using that platform for dividend stock investing. And then I'm also going to contribute to the Ellevest account that we are using to save for a longer term but medium term goal, which is our next home purchase. So basically with Pay Yourself First, I am just making sure that the money is going toward these big goals that are going to be really important for us in the future, and not letting them be the very last thing on the budget priority list. And so that means a big chunk of our money goes to our goals first, which makes me really happy on the inside, and then we can figure out the rest after that. So the total amount for this category is $1,420. When I subtract that from the income that we have to start with, I get a total of $1,839. That is what is left over to pay our bills, our sinking funds, and our variable expenses. That is more than enough money to make sure that we cover everything else left in the budget. So I'm pretty happy about how this is looking already. And I know that we don't have a ton of bills. We don't have a lot of fixed expenses in our first paycheck of the month. Every time that we do a paycheck budget, our first one is a little bit weighted more towards savings, and that works pretty well for us. We do always have to pay a mortgage half payment. We do a biweekly payment, so we pay $600 for our total bill, which is $1,200. So we pay that every paycheck budget no matter what. And then I pretty much have a therapy appointment every paycheck budget. That is one therapy appointment every other week. That's about as long as I can go without going to therapy. I am a diagnosed anxiety disorder person, so I do need to go to therapy, and that is something that I prioritize in the budget as well. And the total for these fixed expenses is $745. So when we subtract that from the $1,839 that we had left, we get a total of $1,094. So that is what we have left to do sinking funds and our variable expenses, which some people do as cash envelopes, but we haven't done cash in a while just because we've been switching more toward doing grocery pickup at Walmart, and that is not cash based. And also the only thing that we had to actually pay cash for was daycare, and we haven't been paying for daycare for a while. So there's just been really no reason to get cash out. So we haven't done it. I forgot to start off this budget with our goals and my to-do items, but I've actually done all of these items, so it really didn't matter. I did already set up my business payment so that I will get paid every other week, $400 from Pennies Not Perfection, and I did create this new budget template, so it is not up on the shop yet, but I wanted to create it and see if I liked it first, because I like to do everything myself first before I offer it for sale. And if you do like it, let me know in the comments. I could always throw it up on the site today. For the sinking funds, which are basically bills and things that we expect to have to pay for but don't pay for every single month, we have our phone bill, and that is going to be $50 that we are saving toward that with Mint Mobile. Then we have life insurance, saving $35 for that bill, car insurance, $75 for that bill. Then I know we will have car repairs at some point in the future, so we're saving $50 for that and $25 for house repair and things as well. And Christmas is back on the budget for saving $25 into that sinking fund. Those are all things that we know will eventually happen, so they're things that aren't necessarily stuff that we're going to ignore forever. And since we both do have income coming in, and things feel a little bit more stable with our tax refund and the stimulus check that's about to come, and just in general, our savings has been bumped up a lot. We are going to kind of go back into normal mode, which feels weird, but it is what it is for now. And that is $260 for all of those categories. Okay, y'all, I did have a mistake in how I wrote down. The $10.49 should have been $10.94, so there was a little bit of extra money, and basically that just meant that for our Transfer Tuesday, we are putting $45 more in the emergency fund, which you would have found on Tuesday, but since I'm putting this up on Monday, I wanted to correct that so I don't get 1,000 comments about it. So when we subtract that, we have $789 left. This would be what you withdraw for cash envelopes, or as a secondary idea, you can put this all in a separate checking account and have a debit card just for your variable spending expenses. So that way, if the money runs out, the money runs out, but you keep the categories variable and you can change money around and keep track that way. I think that's what we're going to do, because we do have two checking accounts, one for bill payments and one for spending. So I think our spending account is just going to be our variable expenses account at this point. And this amount of money is going to cover food, gas, medication, birthdays, which is a April only thing, and then our personal money, and giving, and a miscellaneous category, because there's always something that comes up, and also a little buffer in that checking account just so that we have a slight buffer in case things do get mistakenly added up or subtracted or any sort of math mistake, because you know what? It happens. Let's be real. Honestly, this is kind of the way I would budget if I didn't actually want to budget or track anything. Just kind of have an amount of money in an account that's meant for spending and kind of roughly track it. But if you didn't track it exactly, it'd be okay. But we do try our best to keep things organized and tracked and actually stick to our budget, which has been going really well over the last few months, but we are changing things up. So for this variable expenses, we are going to budget $350 for food, and that is to cover Easter and some birthday stuff, so some special meals, and then gas, $50 because we are still driving around, but not that much. Medications, we both have some that are due to be refilled, so $30, and then $100 for my husband for personal money, $50 for me for personal money. For birthdays, we are going to do, I believe, this paycheck 50 and then some more next paycheck, since we do all have April birthdays. And then bringing giving back into the budget with $100 and miscellaneous $50, and then having that $9 left as a buffer in the account for spending. And this totals up to $789, which was left. And anything not spent in these categories can maybe be rolled over, but also sent to our main goals like the emergency fund on a Transfer Tuesday. I really enjoyed changing it up this time and doing the budget in a different way, so let me know what you thought and if you do this style as well.